My name is Shorty Richardson.
Shorty. Hey, Shorty, how you doing?
Otherwise known as Arnold.
Thank you, Arnold.
And I'm not a Richardson, so my name's got to be Northcott.
That's right. Yes, you're an adopted Richardson. That's what you are. Yes, go ahead, Wes.
This is Wes Richardson.
And last but not least.
And big brother Ernie's brother, Sam Richardson.
There you go. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's collectively give everybody up on the floor here a big round of applause and welcome our curlers. Thank you, gentlemen. Wow, you know, Ron, it's kind of interesting. You're here amongst all the guys. You've been hanging out together for the entire week so far and having a good time. Before I start talking the Richardsons, what has it been like for you to hang out with the boys? You having some fun?
To hang out with these guys, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, you know, my first encounter with these guys was the Briar and Brandon in 1963. And Ernie got really lucky on one shot, or he wouldn't be a four-time world champion.
Okay, well, wait a second. I got to get over to Ernie. Ernie, do you feel the same way about that? Are you going to shut down Ron real quick in this conversation?
Well, I don't know whether it was luck or not, but anytime you make a good shot, there has got to be some luck involved. But I'm not sure that we wanted Ron to win 4 Canadian championships. That's why we had to beat him that one.
Well, there you go. So there you go. Because Ron, you got 3. These guys got 4. Do you feel like did you get cheated back in '63?
Well, actually, well, just slightly, and then we got cheated again in '67. So the reality is, if we'd have really been lucky, we could have had 5 in a row, eh?
I'm sorry to bring up all these bad feelings you have about what you lost.
One other thing I'll have to admit at this time is that we were in Charlottetown in '64, and we were not part of the picture that year. So there's one year there that something else intervened. But other than that,
something else. Yeah, there you go.
Other than that, those other ones, we could have won.
You could have won. There's always a possibility of could have out there. Wes, did you finally get your clothing, by the way? I know you just came in from, at the beginning of this event, you came in from Hawaii. Your luggage hasn't arrived. Did you finally get your luggage?
Yes, we did. Thank you.
Well, I just want to make sure. Otherwise, you're
a little
borrowing
late
clothing
coming,
from
but
your
it
brothers.
got here. Yeah, right.
Well, did you have a fun? Did you have to go? Where did you go in Hawaii? Where did you go for a vacation, or do you?
Well, yeah, that's what we've often been asked. You know, when we end up someplace on the mainland, and they find out we're from Hawaii, and they said, "Well, what are you doing here?" You know, so no, that's the place to be.
There you go. Good to see you back. Thanks very much. I'm glad you got your luggage out there.
He's been there for 32 years, by the way.
Holy cow! He must like it there, obviously. Nice tan you got going, buddy.
Well, it may not be as tan as it should be, but that's okay. You know, the tourists come there to get tan. The locals there, we just keep out of the sun.
Keep it. Good for you. All right, Sam, you know, you've always been called up to do like dinners and that. You were the guest speaker at the opening dinner here. How often a year do you do some guest speaking on the sports circuit?
Well, probably shy, very shy, farm boy.
Yeah, so I think you're shy.
When we won our first World, of course, Saskatchewan, and every town, I think I've been to 150 of them, some up to 10 times, but they always have a sports dinner to raise money. So they got to have a football player, a hockey player, and a curler. So about 95% of the time I'm the curler, and I did 500 dinners that didn't even pay my gas. I told them I'm going to have to stop this because Ernie said, "Sam, I won't help you pay the rent if you don't start charging."
Okay, let's go back a little bit in time. Let's talk about curling then, curling now. What was the, because the amount of time you guys spent back in the 60s, what was it like for a curling team to survive in the 60s out on the road doing the bonspiels? How tough was it? How tough was it? And did you have any sponsorship back there, or did anybody help you out?
No, the only thing that was good, we all worked, of course, so we made a living and took off the weekends once in a while to go to these bonspiels. Now, there wasn't a lot of money to be won in these bonspiels. In fact, the biggest prize, probably the tournament, was about $1,000, except for a couple of car spiels that we went to where you could win a car. But the expenses weren't bad because hotel rooms were cheap and you could buy a meal for just a few bucks. So it wasn't as costly as it is today, so it was a lot easier.
What were some of the purses? You said you had a chance some Bonspiels. You actually won cars. What was the smallest thing you ever won, like in the circuit? And what was the biggest thing you ever won? Was the car the biggest one?
The car is the biggest we ever won, and I think we won a pair of socks the first time we played in Bonspiel.
You know, those are needed though. Come on, like really, if you're talking about stuff you need, socks are really important in life.
Well, I think the first Bonspiel we went to, I think we got socks for a prize, and we were happy as heck to win that because that was our first prize because we were not that good.
Hate to see what third place got on that, so it'll be interesting to see.
And I think some people thought that I made so much money from curling I could move to Hawaii, but that isn't quite the case, okay?
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Well, Ron, what was it like for the purses back when you were winning the worlds and the different Bonspiels around?
Well, the purses were way bigger when I really got into competitive curling. I think in small town southern Alberta, you want a spiel, you might get a coffee maker, or what else was there up for prizes? The big thing, I guess, when I was really a kid and getting out of high school and really getting interested in curling were fridge spiels. If you can imagine, everybody wanted to go to a spiel. It was a fridge spiel, and they had them all over the province. They used to have a big famous one up in Viking, and I always wanted to go to that, but I was too young and my folks wouldn't let me go. And the time I got old enough, I didn't want to win a fridge anyway, and we couldn't go. But I guess I'm like the Richardsons here. The biggest prize that we ever won, we won the cars in Edmonton one year. And I guess cool. Back in high school, we also won cars. But those were vintage cars, and we were lucky to get them started and drive them around.
Oh, so somebody just dumped a car on you that didn't work.
That's exactly
Here's
right.
Your grand prize. Fix it up. And by the way, get it out of here for me.
Well, they worked good enough so we could get them off the lot. That was about it, yeah.
So if you're handy, you were good. That's all. Well, who influenced you, Ron, though? And then we'll ask the rest of Richards. Who were your influences growing up curling? Who was your influence? Who'd you look up to when you started curling?
Garnet Campbell was one who won the Canadian Championship in 1955. But we took up curling actually because we were in the construction business, worked for our father, Sam and I and Arnold, and we needed something to do in the wintertime because we weren't good enough to work inside in the winter, so we had a little time off. That was to start with. So that got us into curling, and we did it sort of as a recreation and something to pass some time. But as we got better, we decided maybe, and then Garnet Campbell, we watched him play in the 55 Brier, and we said, God, wouldn't that be nice if we could represent our province? And we started to take it a little more seriously in 1959. We were able to go to the Canadian Championships in Quebec City.